Looking forward very much to this 10-lap race to see which way it's going to go in the favour of Indonesia, Japan, the Philippines, India or Thailand. Jose Gerard Policarpio is one to watch in the race, as is Akshay Gupta. 10 laps then of racing about to get underway for the 2015 Asian part of the Nissan GT Academy here on the Silverstone International Circuit. And it is a good start actually from Andika Raman. Not half bad for Jose Gerard Policarpio. He got the car well away as well from the line. So they head down towards farm for the first time of asking. And it looks like Andika Raman has got a good start there. Policarpio feeding into third position right behind Takuya Takahashi. Akshay Gupta is in fourth and fifth place Nathaya Sirigaya. So no changes from the grid order as far as I can tell. It's very tight though indeed down at Village, as there are two overtakes happening almost simultaneously there. And Policarpio is up to second position, I reckon. Akshay Gupta just about fended off Nathaya Sirigaya in fifth place. But there is a change there. In the Philippines have overtaken Japan and move into second place. It is Andika Raman though that leads this race on the opening lap of 10. So a good, well-timed overtake there from Jose Gerard Policarpio. It's been drilled in them from the start of today. If you're going to take an overtake, make sure you are fully committed to it. And it looked like that was a good, clean move down at Village Corner for Policarpio. So Takahashi down to third position in the number 7 red car for Japan. So if you took note of the car numbers, they run 1, 5, 7, 6 and 2 right now, and the battle is on, you know, for the lead of the race. So too it is for fourth position as well, because Akshay Gupta under pressure there from Nathaya Sirigaya, but the gap has come considerably down after this first lap to Andika Raman, who leads the race after just one lap, but only by 0.378 of a second over Jose Gerard Policarpio. For my money, is the man on the move here. Takuya Takahashi can't really live with the pace of the number 5 car, the yellow machine. Down to Village and the link for the second time then of 10. And waiting for the cars to feed out of Chapel Corner. Starting to open up a gap now is the third place car of Takuya Takahashi from Japan. So Akshay Gupta, though showing good pace in qualifying not too long ago, about an hour or so ago, he can't really match the pace of the Japanese driver, at least in the early stages of this race. They're working their way now through Stowe Corner. World famous part of the course, of course, at the end of the Hangar Straight, down through the Vale, and then they get to the left and right flick at Club Corner, which come very quickly indeed. There is a shortcut there, which we hope none of the drivers will take. They're about to come into my sight proper now, and it is still Andika Raman that leads from Jose Gerard Policarpio. Third position is Takuya Takahashi. Fourth place Akshay Gupta for India in the number 6 orange car, and Nathaya Sirigaya still in fifth position. Now what happened on the last lap? Well, it was of the flyers, and of course we can now start to read into these lap times. The first one was from a standing start. This second one, the best car out there was the race leader. So Andika Raman has reacted to the quicker pace of Policarpio behind him, and he's opened the gap up now to 6.5 tenths. 1.6 seconds further back is the Japanese car driven by Takuya Takahashi. Akshay Gupta in fourth place is 2.7 seconds behind, and 5 seconds behind the race leader. And then Nathaya Sirigaya just a second off Akshay Gupta. So the good news is everyone has someone to race with and get involved with and kind of monitor their progress. So down at Stowe come the front runners, and Andika Raman still not needing to stick his elbows out too much, although the pressure's on, because Jose Gerard Policarpio is just taking this watching brief, I'd say, allowing the race to develop, but staying in touch with the race leader. They're going to come through Club for the third time now and back over the line. It'll be interesting to see whether that gap's come down. I reckon it probably has. 0.6 of a second. No, it's gone up, so it shows how much I know. 8 tenths of a second now between Indonesia and Philippines. Third position for Takuya Takahashi. So Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, India are fourth, Thailand are fifth, and another quickest lap that time around for Andika Raman with a 1:18.023. Are we going to see a lap time down in the 1:17s? He only needs to improve by 24 thousandths of a second to break that marker of 1:18. So nose to tail there, I noticed, as they two cars headed through the link, and someone's gone a bit wide. I think that's at the back of the field. Yes, it is. So Akshay Gupta just pushing a bit too hard as they reach Chapel on this fourth lap, and that allows Nathaya Sirigaya to move his car up the inside. It was kind of gifted to him, but he was there to pressurise Akshay Gupta into a mistake. So lap 4, and positions 4th and 5th change around. At the head of the order, though, it is still Rama ahead of Policarpio. Katuya Takakashi not able to get quite close enough to involve himself in this leading duo, though. So can Takahashi start to get his head down and maybe use a double toe from Andika Rama and Policarpio? And that gap has definitely come down now from 0.8 of a second. It's down to 0.458. What was the lap time like from Takahashi, who's trying to get involved in this battle, but he's still 2.5 seconds away from it? He's in third at 1:18.5 down at Farm Corner. Has somebody come a cropper? No, they're all just about still on the circuit. There's that change, as I mentioned, though, for 4th position. That happened down at Chapel Corner. Nathaya Sirigaya getting ahead of Akshay Gupta. Leaders working their way through the link for the 5th time, so the end of this will be halfway through. And the grid now in 2 definite groups, I'd say, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. The winner can come from any of those 3 cars. Then there's this gap, which is up to 5 seconds, back to new 4th place man Nathaya Sirigaya. Akshay Gupta in 5th position. I reckon Sirigaya's maybe got a bit more pace than he's showing in this race. There's a car gone wide, was Takahashi with the moment. And that happened at the end of the Hangar Straight. They're going to feed their way now out of Club Corner around this arcing right, and there is a lead change because Policarpio is now ahead of the former leader Andika Rama. So Philippines lead it from Indonesia in 2nd. Big gap back to a damaged number 6 car of Akshay Gupta. He's lost the front right headlight after clouting Sirigaya, it looks like. So that was Takahashi, who went straight on at the end of Hangar Straight with a moment at Stowe. Just the car washing out on him very slightly, understeering off. I think he's collected that moment up again and is still running, although we're yet to see him at the end of lap 5. So all change. Philippines lead it from Indonesia, Thailand up to 3rd, India running 4th, and Japan yet to finish his 5th lap. Takuya Takahashi. Well, there goes my theory that the winner was going to come from one of the top 3. It's not going to come from Takahashi now. And the good news for Andika Rama is that although he's ceded the lead to Jose Gerard Policarpio, he's still very much in touch. 0.6, maybe 0.7 of a second. Here is a very slow Takahashi arriving back in pit lane, and it looks like that car is out of the race, certainly out of contention, as the leaders work their way back from Stowe through the Vale and into Club Corner. And the gap has fluctuated really between 0.4 and 0.8 of a second. Last time around it was 0.6, but Philippines leading Indonesia for the first time in the race. It's still the yellow car ahead of the green, by the way. And the gap is 0.6 again, with a new fastest lap from Indonesia. So Andika Rama turning the screw a little bit here. He does a 1:18.311. Compare that to the Philippines at 1:18.379. So 0.06 of a second quicker. These are small margins, and he's kind of stabilised that gap between Jose Gerard Policarpio and Andika Rama. Through in 3rd position, new 3rd place actually is Akshay Gupta. So Gupta gaining that spot on Sirigaya. And it's a shame actually that battle isn't for the lead of the race, because it's one of the best in the race. For 3rd position, was for 4th, is now for 3rd after Japan's retirement. So it started with 5, down to 4 cars, and they are the leaders now at Stowe, working their way through this right-hander, which opens out very gently to then the drop through the Vale. You can feel that through your backside. Braking for this left and right-hander at Club Corner, and the sharpness of Club Corner gets less and less as they feed their way out onto the start and finish line. It's still Policarpio, but he cannot shake the attentions of Andika Rama. The Philippines ahead of Indonesia, then a big gap back to the 3rd place battle, but still very interesting this, because although the car of Akshay Gupta is a bit lighter now, missing 1 or 2 body panels after it looks like some contact with Nathaya Sirigaya. Gupta is able to stretch his legs a bit now over the 4th place Sirigaya for Thailand. 1 second is the gap from 3rd to 4th, but 0.649 of a second between Philippines and Indonesia. Still staying very constant is that gap from 1st to 2nd. The leaders are just heading down Hanger Straight now for the 8th time. So this race getting pretty old now, only a 10-lap affair, remember, and we are 7.5 into it. So waiting for the cars now to appear back at Stowe. It is still the yellow car ahead of the green. So Policarpio for the Philippines, leading Andika Rama in second position. Then this large gap back of nearly 10 seconds to the third place fight, which is headed by Gupta. But Sirigaya may still have a say in who finishes third, because he is circulating just over a second behind, waiting for the leaders to appear at the end then of lap 8. And are we going to see any improvement in lap times, I wonder? The fastest lap is still in the hands of second place man Andika Rama. Over the line then at the end of 8 laps. The gap is up to a second now. That was a half-decent time from the Philippines driver Policarpio. Nothing special, but it was much, much better than Rama, because he's actually lapped that time around half a second quicker. So as I say, the gap's up to a second now between Policarpio and Rama. Third position is still Akshay Gupta, who started 4th. And in 4th, who started 5th, is Natheus Sirigaya. Sadly for you Japanese fans watching on Nismo TV, Takuya Takahashi, your man from Japan, is no longer in the race. Where are the leaders working their way down Hanger Straight for the 9th time then? We have been in this race for about 11 minutes, and they head through this relatively sort of medium speed right-hander at Stowe Corner, which then provides the run through the Vale towards this hard braking area and an overtaking opportunity, but not for Andika Rama this time around, because he's still about a second off the back of Jose Gerard Policarpio, who is managing this race very well indeed, I'd say. He's of course constantly got the white and green car of Andika Rama in the mirrors, and that in itself is pressure. But Jose Gerard Policarpio just concentrating on his own race and ensuring that he doesn't make a mistake. He is getting slower though, interestingly enough, but so is Rama. That was a 1:18.9 from Policarpio, but a 1/10 of a second slower was Andika Rama, so again he's lost a bit of ground. 1.2 seconds now the gap between first and second. A full 10.7 seconds adrift of the leading duo is third placed Akshay Gupta for India, and the Thailand driver Natheus Sirigaya is still in 4th position. That was Sirigaya's best lap of the race, a 1:18.983. This is the final lap though, so if a move is to be made, then it needs to be now. Are they side by side, the race leaders, at the end of the Hanger Straight? Yes, they are. So Policarpio starting to turn off the style here. They're working their way through Stowe Corner. It's still the yellow car just ahead of the green, but Andika Rama from nowhere, bearing in mind he was 1.2 seconds adrift, he's right on the boot lid now of Policarpio. So Policarpio, I would guess, has made a mistake somewhere, and Jose Gerard Policarpio having to defend heavily into Club Corner. Is Policarpio going to go a bit wide here? This could be a move through the final corner for Andika Rama. They are absolutely nose to tail here, but across the line by about a car's length, it is going to be Jose Gerard Policarpio, despite a slight error which brought the gap from 1.2 seconds down to just 0.3 of a second at the end of that race. And in fact a really good fight for third position as well, with Akshay Gupta just about fending off Natheus Sirigaya for third position. That was 0.219 of a second's difference. It was 0.288 of a second difference between the first and second place finishers. So they came very much separated by almost 11 seconds in the end. But first and second, really good fight. Third and fourth, a really good fight. Just a shame for Takuya Takahashi, who retired about halfway through and sadly wasn't involved. He, by the looks of things, didn't rejoin. No, remains in the pits. But a massive congratulations to Jose Gerard Policarpio there, who showed a great bit of racecraft for my money, but also a level head when it really mattered. A fascinating event. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Goodbye from me, Johnny Pop.